Lesson 8.2, Intro to Solving Systems by Substitution. To solve a system by substitution, step 1 is to solve one of the equations for one of the variables. Your goal is to get x equals something or y equals something. It does not matter which variable you solve for. You could solve for x, you could solve for y. And so in the system we're going to look at, example number 1, we have this system. Y equals 6x and 2x plus 3y equals negative 20. Do we have y equals something or x equals something in this system? You should say yes, right? In this equation we have y equals something. Y equals 6x. And so basically in this system, step 1 is already done for us. We have already solved for one of the variables. Okay, sometimes it may be given to you like that. Other times you may have to pick an equation and solve for one of the variables. But we have step 1 down. We have one of the equations equal to something. Y equals 6x. Step 2 is substitute the value you found for that variable into the other equation. And so this is the value. Y is the same thing as 6x. That's what it's telling us. Y equals 6x. Y is the same thing as 6x. And so for step 2, we're going to substitute or plug in 6x into this equation for y. Okay? And so let's call this equation number 1 and let's call this equation number 2. We're taking the value for y and plugging it into equation number 2. Alright, so let's copy what this equation says. Equation 2 is 2x plus 3y, which is 3 times y. And so every time I'm going to plug in, I'm going to put parentheses. I'm going to put parentheses where this variable is at. Okay? I have 3y, 3 times y. And what is y? Y is this. Y is 6x. And so I'm plugging 6x in for y right here. 3y or 3, what y is. Y is 6x. Okay, I still have equal negative 20. Alright, so I've plugged in 6x in for y. Now let's solve this equation for x. Okay, so I have 2x plus what's positive 3 times 6x? Well, that would be positive 18x equal to negative 20. Do you have any like terms? What's 2x plus 18x? 2x plus 18x, that's 20x equal to negative 20. Solve for x by dividing both sides by 20. So those 20 simplify, and x equals negative 20 over 20, that's negative 1. X is negative 1. Now that's not your solution. That's part of your solution. That's the x value in your ordered pair. But as we write this as an ordered pair, we need a y value. Okay? So we have just done step 2. We substituted the value we found for that variable into the other equation, and then we did step 3. We solved the equation for the remaining variable. We just solved for x. So now, step 4, substitute the value you found in step 3, which was x equal negative 1, substitute that into one of the equations and solve for the other variable. And so basically we know what x is, now we have to figure out what y is. And in this system we have these two equations. In either one of those two equations, does it say y equals anything? Do we have y equals something? Yes, we do. We have it right here, y equals 6x. And so let's just copy that over here. Y equals 6x. This was the first equation in the system. Well, to solve for y, wouldn't it be nice if we knew what x was? If we knew the value of x, then we could get y. Well, we just solve for x. We have x right here. And so what we need to do is take x, take this value of x, and plug it in right there. Plug it in right there. So we have y equals 6x, or 6 times x. 6 times x, and what is x? We just solved for it. X is negative 1. So I have 6 times negative 1. And what is 6 times negative 1? That is negative 6. Okay? So we have our x value, negative 1, our y value, negative 6. If you look at step 5 on your outline, write the answer as an ordered pair. An ordered pair is some xy value, some xy ordered pair. So we write the x value first, negative 1, then we put a comma, then the y value, negative 6. And ordered pairs are always put in what? They're always put in parentheses. Okay, this of course is the x value, this is the y value, x before y, just like the alphabet. And so this right here is our solution, -1, 6. That is a solution. The sixth and final step is to check your answer. Check to make sure that that is indeed the solution. Well, how can we do that? How can we check to see if -1, -6 is the solution? Well, we can plug the x and the y values into the original equations. And so let's do that real quick. Remember, equation number 1 was y equals 6x. Let's plug the y value in. What's y? -6. -6 equal to 6 times x. What's x? -1. So 6 times -1. So -6 is equal to 6 times -1. That is -6. And so is this true? Is -6 equal to -6? Yes, it is. All right, so this point satisfies this equation, but to be the solution, it must satisfy both equations. And so remember that second equation was 2x plus 3y equal -20. All right, so 2x, that's 2 times x, and x is -1, so 2 times -1, plus 3 times y, and y is -6, equals -20. All I did was plug in x and y into the equation. 2 times -1, that's -2. What's 3 times -6? That's -18, equal -20. What's -2 and -18? Well, it's -20, right? Same signs add, keep sign, equals -20. Is this true? Does -20 equal -20? Yes, it does. And so this point, -1, -6, satisfies both equations. Therefore, it is the solution. This is the solution to the system.